Yo, this is the Scarcity Studios YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And our sponsors are Alpha Claims and Hire Birmingham, the leading and best accident management company. Get a replacement car anywhere in 1 hour. And don't forget to join us on Hot 92 Radio tomorrow in Birmingham for the latest roundup of news. The main story of this video is dated on Saturday afternoon on August the 29th. So 2 days ago, 3 schoolboys have been arrested after a fight broke out in broad daylight in a small Heath area. The fight involved swords and machetes as well. 2 machetes were actually recovered from the scene. The West Midlands Police said that specialist youth violence officers had to be deployed to Munt Street in Small Heath after armed disorder on Saturday afternoon. I didn't even know there were specialist youth violence officers, so they must be training officers differently to deal with kids, but I haven't seen much about that, so I'll definitely try and check that one out. The teenagers are fighting with machetes and swords just before 4 PM on the street. 3 15-year-olds were arrested in connection with disorder. All 3 have been released, bailed, pending further inquiries. Police recovered the 2 blades from the scene and shared them on social media. So there doesn't seem to be any injuries that have been reported at the time, but do bear in mind, a lot of these sort of incidents, unless it's fatally injured or you desperately need help, they don't report the crimes. So there is a lot of unreported stabbings that go on in inner cities and areas all over the country. So I thought this story was very important to highlight the fact of how young a lot of the kids that are involved in this violence are, and I really look forward to hearing what people have to say on that story. Staying in Birmingham as well, a brother and sister have been jailed this week for robbing an elderly man in the local area that they knew. Hayley Fisher from No Fixed Abode and Colin Fisher from Kings Heath were aware that the 75-year-old Kings Heath resident was going to the bank to withdraw money on Monday the 27th of April. He arrived home during the height of the COVID-19 lockdown. The 2 siblings ambushed him at his front door and searched his clothing for the money. They escaped with over £100 from his property on King's Terrace that day. After the incident was reported to police, the officers fitted the pensioner's home with a camera, and then the sister Hayley turned up again on the Sunday the 17th of May. Her voice was recorded when she jumped over his garden fence and forced her way into the house. That day she didn't get any cash when she confronted the man, but she took milk, sugar and cakes. Hayley Fisher, a self-confessed drug addict, was eventually arrested in July after the police issued an appeal. The 37-year-old evaded police custody for 2 months, and despite answering no comments in the police interview, she pleaded guilty at Birmingham Crown Court on the 25th of August. She was sentenced to 4 years and 2 months in prison. She was handed a 5-year restraining order and told not to contact the victim. Her 40-year-old brother, Colin Fisher, was arrested for robbery at his home address in May and was sentenced on the same day as his sister last week. He was given 3 years and 6 months in prison after pleading guilty to robbery and must adhere to conditions that she did as well to not go near the victim. So I'm sorry to hear about that man's terrible ordeal, and I hope he gets over that. And I hope this brother and sister find the help they need to get off drugs, because this is the sort of desperate actions that it makes you do. In an update to the murder of Naasir Francis, this case has moved incredibly fast. Several people have already been charged with murder and also other offences in relation to it. Today, Darnell Harris from Handsworth and a 17-year-old boy from Surrey have been charged with murder, attempted murder and possession of a prohibited weapon. A 16-year-old boy who can't be named for legal reasons has also been charged with murder, attempted murder and possession of a firearm with intent to endanger life. They were remanded at Birmingham Magistrates Court, and they're appearing today actually to find out where they're going to be remanded, I think. A 15-year-old and 18-year-old who were arrested in Birmingham last night for suspicion of assisting an offender have been released pending further investigation. So Surrey's down south, it's nowhere near Birmingham, so that definitely explains maybe where they went afterwards. Naasir, also known as Crill, aged 22, was fatally shot in Lozells at 12:30 PM on Wednesday. Birmingham artist and rapper Mogs actually paid respect to him as well in a post on his social media. So as I said, it's very unusual that these cases move so quickly. As we've seen the complications with the Panache Baco murder when there was still a lot of outstanding stuff, but due to the amount of arrests and charges in relation to this and the more details that are coming out, in a recent interview with a first responder, so a paramedic at the scene, with the Birmingham Mail newspaper, Elena Cohen, who carries a bleed kit in her car, attempted to reach the fatally injured victim, Naasir. However, the 22-year-old was in a car, they say, and it sped off and hit another vehicle on its way before she had chance to get near him. So this actually shows us that he was in a car at the time. And another newspaper has said that a bystander was physically restrained from kicking the gunman during the harrowing Wednesday incident close to the junction of Wheeler Street in Lozells Road. Witnesses say they heard 6 shots and saw a number of shell casings. They believe there was multiple weapons involved. The community remains in shock after the incident. The paramedic said that she remained baffled by what she witnessed after realising the sound of a car backfiring was in fact gunfire. She attempted to reach the scene. I wasn't just thinking of one person, I thought there may be others. She also said she's seen the gunman pull the gun out of his backpack while riding on a bicycle. At first she believed he was firing at a white Lexus with Naasir at the wheel and 3 passengers inside. She said none of it made sense. She now believes the target vehicle was not the Lexus. Another passerby had been physically restrained from confronting the cyclist, as I said earlier, and she was pulled back by a member of the public. The woman, who didn't want to be named, said it was a very traumatic event because her partner was murdered 17 years ago on that day and he was stabbed to death, and she said it was like reliving it. She said she heard 2 gunshots and her friend thought it was a car backfiring also. She then heard a third, and then she saw a guy on a bike pulling a gun out of his pouch, and then she jumped out of the car and was trying to intervene. She said she wanted to kick him. That could have easily escalated into her getting injured because another car with other innocent people in got shot in this actual drive-by. And that is why several people have been charged with 3 attempted murders. They were innocent people that was in a car. So far, Lawrence Morgan has been charged with murder from Neachills and appeared at Birmingham Magistrates. He was remanded in custody. And then today, another male from Handsworth and a 16-year-old boy. So I want to send my condolences to the family and friends of Naasir, and I'll definitely keep you updated with this story. Please pay your respects in the comments in relation to this story, and I'll be back again very shortly with some more news. Peace.